First off, George Wickens, what's the latest with him?
Yep, so he's going to miss the weekend, hopefully just one game. So we've had to follow protocol with the concussion, but he'll be back into training, touch wood, and then we have to follow some procedure from that from next week. So all being well, it's just one, but we're still in protocol mode with the concussion protocol stuff. So yeah, this game he won't be available.
And that's why it's so important to have these protocols in place because, as you say, Saturday you thought maybe it isn't, but it's come on as the days have come on.
Yeah, as the days have come on, and he does his testing, and then it flags up something, and then we have to follow that, which is right, because we have to protect the player. So yeah, it's good that what happened Saturday happened, and you can see them coming off the pitch for the right reasons. So yeah, disappointing to lose him because I think he was doing well. I thought he did well, but that's why we've got players ready to go, come off on the bench and ready to take his spot.
Yeah, I assume Zach will be getting the call on Saturday.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, him and Jamie are close, so we're working out who's first. But obviously Zach came off the bench, but obviously we've got Jamie in the building as well. So we're just deciding on that at the moment, along with the other team.
And it's important whoever does come in just comes and grasps that opportunity, even if they know it might only be one game or two games, that they need to make the most of it.
Yeah, for both Jamie and Zach, they know they could have an opportunity to play. George has obviously grabbed his opportunity to be number one and has been doing really well for us. But these things happen, so whoever goes in goal on Saturday will hopefully put on a good show and show us what they can do.
Everybody else come through unscathed?
Yeah, not too bad. We're all unscathed from that. JJ's not been in today training. I'm not sure about tomorrow, so it could be a doubt because he's quite ill. He's quite poorly, so we have to just wait and see on that. Probably a late one in terms of trying to make the squad or not. But everybody else is available as the normals, and other than Hamo is on the grass with us, Ethan Hamilton, but he's still not available for selection yet.
We talked about this last weekend about the fact that you had a number of players left at home, which is great in one sense, but how do you go about keeping them happy week after week if they are the players that are constantly left at home?
I think no one's happy about being not in the squad and no one's happy about playing. You don't want them happy, but it's up to them to show me in the week how hard they want to train and how hard they want to be part of the team. And I think that's what makes a healthy environment and a healthy competitive environment, which is what we need. We're going to need everybody throughout the course of the season, no doubt. And lots of players are chomping at the bit to try and get on the pitch and chomping at the bit to try and get in the team. But I won't want happy players for not making it. It's for their job to show me and the rest of the management team that they want to play. And that's throughout the week and training, and make sure that training is really competitive and lively and show what they can do.
It is a busy month coming up in October especially, but for those players that aren't playing, how do you go about keeping them ticking over? Do you put friendlies in for them, or is it just about keeping their training a little different to the rest of the team?
No, we keep them training hard, we keep them ready. We will put a friendly in, behind closed doors, because they'll need minutes, so topping up. We want to keep them bubbling, because like I say, we know we're going to get injuries, illnesses, suspensions, concussions. Like, it's part of the nature of the business, it's part of football. So it's our job as well to look after the 15, 11 or whatever are starting and getting their minutes, and how we recover them and freshen them. But it's also our job to make sure that we give some minutes to the players that might be needed a bit further down the line, or coming on and being in the best state they can be. So we help them to perform, and then flip it's part of their job to train hard and be competitive and try and grab a shirt, really.
I want to talk about statistics and specifically possession, because at the moment you and Wrexham are the two sides with the least amount of possession on average according to Opta. How much notice do you take of possession stats? Because if you look at that, you'll go, okay, you're not seeing much of the ball, but then if you look at the league table, you go, well, it's not hurting you, is it?
Yeah, I think we look at all stats all the time, and we look at it in a game-to-game short term, but we also look at it in a long-term development of the team. So we're fully aware of most of the stats, but the stats can skew differences. It's interesting, XG it can give you something, but you have to actually watch the context of the game, and it's the same with possession, it's the same with all the stats. There are a couple of the stats that we do look at in a real close way, which is not actually possession. There's some other stats in there that I don't want to talk about, but that I heavily look at. But yeah, we'll look at all stats. But in the same sense, we have to take it with the context and who we've played and how we've played the game. And maybe we've tried to sit off teams to go and exploit. Maybe we've done it in a different way. So yes, look at all stats if that gives the answers, but it's within our game model and what we want to achieve, which is most important.
And the way we see teams set up now and play, and we're seeing a lot more teams play around in defence and play with their goalkeepers, do you think that also skews the possession stats compared to maybe 10 years ago when we didn't see goalkeepers and defenders do that as much?
Yeah, I think loads of things can skew the stats. For me, it's like what do you do with the possession that's the most important thing, and how, we look at different things. You could look at box entries, you could look at shots, you could look at crosses, you could look at game tilt, you could look at everything in terms of different contexts of possession. Of course we want the ball, of course we do, but I want to hurt them as well. But in terms of the other stats, like you say, playing around, I think it's natural. The game's developing into trying to get control, and how you get control is, for me, the most important thing. But things that can skew stats could be like you're 4-1 up in a game, and a team's trying to get back in the game, and you're sinking a little bit, but you're trying to protect the lead. So how does that measure in the context of the game? So that's why I say stats are really important, and they give you a bit of information, but knowledge is how you use them and what context you look at them.
The other one that kind of stood out was your conversion rate, which is top of the table in terms of League One. And I guess that shows the confidence that's flowing through that team, not just in open play, but at set pieces as well. There's been a real positive in terms of an uptick compared to last season, it feels. Yeah,
so far. It's 5 games in, it's not 46 games. Again, so for stats, it's a small sample size. But we've started the season well with set pieces. We work really hard on them. Scotty Fry, our set piece and goalkeeping coach, puts a lot of time and effort into exploiting the weaknesses, and I think we started really well in that. I thought it's one area we could have been more dominant in against Peterborough, but we probably didn't get enough of them. So that goes back to your other arguments. But yeah, I thought we've done really well in set pieces, and long may it continue. We keep improving, and we will need to keep improving because teams are always improving. But apart from set pieces, and we were happy, and like you say, conversion rate's really good, and ultimately that's what we want to do to try and keep winning games.
Great result for Wigan last week. Just how dangerous will they be?
Yeah, really dangerous. Really good team. Always like the way they play. Really good coach. Coached really well by Sean. Fantastic coach, experienced. They play some really good football. Expansive. You saw their score last week against Bristol Rovers. I thought they blew them away. They were far too superior for them at that point on the day. So we're going to have to be really strong. We're going to have to be strong without the ball. We're going to have to be good in the moments we have it, and we're going to have to exploit their weaknesses. But it's going to be a tough game. I think last season they weren't in a realistic finish because of their points deduction. I definitely think they're going to be up and around it this season. But we're at home and we want to take the game to them, and we're trying to win the game like always, and it's another chance definitely to try and get 3 points.